Ladies and gentlemen traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. As you're tuning in, hit that thumbs up, and if you're a new viewer, consider subscribing to the channel. So as you guys can see from the thumbnail, we are up a fair amount today, 1,600 bucks. So we're going to talk about how we were able to find the stocks that I traded. We're going to talk a little bit about the patterns, the setups, and the strategies that I traded, and we're going to talk about how we were looking to manage risk as well. But before we jump into it, just a quick reminder, our disclaimer here. Remember that day trading is risky. Remember that a lot of people out here are having a hard time, and that day trading isn't just coming into the markets and making money right away. It takes months and more commonly years to become proficient, efficient, competent, and experienced. So if you're new, even if you've been around and you're not consistently making money, consider using the simulator. Consider using a small amount of cash. That way, as you go through your learning curve, you're not exposing yourself to a tremendous amount of risk. And that's just good advice for any business anywhere in the world. You start off slow, you gain experience, and over time, as you get more, in tune with what you're doing, you increase your exposure. Come on, guys. Do not force it early. Do not lose big into the market. All right. It's not a place for pride or ego. Now, with that being said, and actually, let's come back to the disclaimer here, because let's also remember that during the live streams and these recaps, it's never an invitation to copy trade. You have to always remember that what I'm doing here is very detailed and intricate. It's not something you can just watch on and try to mimic. That is a recipe for disaster. Lastly, remember, I will never message you first. I do not invest money for my subscribers. So be careful of the fake accounts and impersonating accounts out there pretending to be me. I will never ask you for money, personal information, and I will never message you first randomly out of the blue. All right, so stay safe out there and do not get scammed. So the stocks that we traded today were stocks IINN, TUP, BACK, and lastly ARBB. ARBB, I believe to be the best stock today. And in fact, at one point we were up 1,600 on that one. So we gave back quite a bit of profits. We were up at our highs at 2,400, I believe. I want to say somewhere there, maybe 2,200. We gave back profits. We'll talk a little bit about maybe what we can do next time differently. Because I realized at a certain point, the stock is kind of priced in a high, and then we're into another consolidation. Maybe there's a new high day coming, maybe not. But in that area, maybe we ease off completely rather than even sizing down and taking trades, because even with the small size, we're giving back a hefty chunk, right? But coming back to those couple of questions that we mentioned, right? Hey, Relentless, how did you find the stocks that you traded today? Well, guys, I use Momo Pro, right? Mometic. This is the scanning software that I use. And as we come down here to the discovery section, this is the list that I come every day. In the morning, I do keep it on this particular filter here, which says no filter, so you don't need to make anything. But for the sake of this video, just to show you guys the list of stocks that we were looking at here with a tighter filter, so everything is like right here in our face. These are some of the stocks I traded. Again, ARBB, BACK. So since the open, some of them have sold off, and so their percentage gain has dropped on the day. But as we can see, they're trading with decent volume, right? BACK here, 26 million shares, ARBB 99 million shares. These stocks are usually a little smaller in the float, aka the supply is limited, not as big as some other companies. And then lastly, the volume today versus other days, aka relative volume, is very, very high. So this is how I find the stocks every morning. I show up, come on the Momo Pro, and this discovery section shows me what I need to see. So from there, I go through that criteria of volume and those other things, and then I compile my watch list. And so this morning, I'm like, hey guys, I'm watching it such and such. I don't believe I don't believe that I entered into the alert section. Okay, I didn't. I forgot to do that. In fact, just for reference, I'll do that now. But I usually will put all the stocks in here. I did put it on the YouTube stream, and this is good for in case anyone is looking to back test. ARBB, let's see, BACK, right? Is it BACK? BACK. and IINN. This way, if anyone is looking to back test stocks, they can come back and just go there and in the chat room. Anyhow, let's now talk about the patterns and setups that I was looking to trade on these stocks. So ARBB, will start off with this one, since it was the biggest and craziest of the bunch. So for context, let's make sure to include pre-market, which is this gray area here. This is of course before 9:30. So we'll see since 4 a.m. Since 4 a.m. this stock started to move up, and they'll usually start to move based off of some sort of news headline. Hey, some sort of material news will come onto the market depending on the sector of the company, right? Let's say technology company, a pharmaceutical company, a biotech company, a shipping company. It can be anything, right? They'll release some sort of news. Hey, we have such and such going on. The market will then react to that, and then we start to gain volume. And you can see here, way more volume started to come in around 6 a.m. So maybe there was some speculation here, and then the real headline comes out, the stock takes off. And this is where we start to see our first, pattern. On the way up, it's aggressive, it's early. We get our baby pullback in here, which is, we have the high and then a dip. No red candles here, but then there's a dip and a move higher. And then it continues again right here, a move higher. And then we get into a much of a more bigger drawn out setup, right? We got a couple candlesticks to make the new high, but really and truly, we start to see this huge wedge form right here. It breaks out, it does pull back, and then we go again right here. Forms a little bit of a miniature bear flag here, and then breaks out, and then this rips up. So this is where we really start to see a few of our patterns. You get another flag in here into the new high. And so for me, I don't trade pre-market. I'm coming in at the open, but I want to see, hey, how well are we doing right now, and what can this thing potentially do? And so the first thing I noticed is that we were in a bit of a channel, sideways price action, right? And I like that a lot of times for these stocks, because when we're coming in aggressively, let's say the stock did something like this, if we're coming into the open aggressively, most of the times the stock needs to come back down first before it does anything. So I love that we were sideways, and we had the higher end of the channel, and then we had the lower end of the channel here. So I was looking forward to seeing a red to green, and that's exactly what we got here in the opening surge. And so I was able to make something here as the 1 minute candle made the new high at 28. Guys, this is a very simple pattern that we look at. It's called the 1 minute candle making the new high. And this would in itself, so there's the macro, right, which is what we just looked at. You zoom out, this is the macro of what's going on. Now you zoom in and you get a little bit more, into the micro. This on a smaller scale, we have a, move down into a move up. Relentless, what is your signal to buy? The first candle making the new high over 28 is what I was looking at here. And in fact, let's see my order entry. I think I was long at 20, 29, 28, my first trade. On ARBB, let's see. I'm in at 27. So I'm in at 27 for my first entry. And I'm in at 33, 34, and I'm selling at 39 coming out. So I you can see I sold this very early, right? Now, at the time, my expectations, I'm looking for a couple cents at a time. This is another thing for perspective, right? Perspective. I'm looking for a couple cents at a time, and I didn't know for sure if we were going to continue into a move like this, especially the type of move we had here. I was thinking maybe 45, then it maybe comes back down a little bit again to that level of 30, and then we go back up to 45, 50, 60, and then slowly make our way higher. But this thing absolutely took off. In hindsight, if I could go back, I would buy it 27, 33 again and hold this entire thing, because it went all the way to 333 from the level of 233 that I was buying. With the amount of shares that I had, I would have made $3,000 if I would have just been in once and out once, right? But of course, I couldn't read the future. I didn't expect this thing to go up like it did. But anyhow, 27 was my entry. Relentless. where were you looking to potentially sell this thing if it was going to go against you, right? So there's a few places, right? Uh, the low of the current candle at the time was 21, and I'm in at 27 for my first entry. I could watch the low of the candle and risk about 6 cents. Generally, I want to see a 2 to 1, 3 to 1, or higher. So what that means is if I risk 6 cents, can I make 12 cents, right? And this is part of why I was selling this trade so soon as well, because it already was hitting my expectation, which was just, 10, 15 cents at a time, 20 cents. Ideally, I'm not really looking for a dollar a share move as someone who's trading hundreds of times per day, right? If you're trading 5 times a day and you're holding much longer, my average trades last about 20, 30 seconds. If you're somebody maybe holding for 5, 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes at a time, maybe you're taking 3, 4, 5 trades a day and you're kind of looking for this bigger push, right? So whilst I'm getting in and out over and over, somebody else might just be in once, out once. It's a different style, right? As long as it's working. So that was my risk here. And sometimes I'll even keep it tighter than that. If I'm in and this thing's just not going and we're seeing sellers coming in, sometimes I'm out flat, right? Break even, I'll wait to get back in somewhere else. So anyhows, that's how I was looking to manage risk right there. And we pushed up to 42. And this is where I was selling my first position. And then it ended up moving so quickly in the moment that I didn't really get back in. So by the end of all of this, I was up $300 and we ended up getting a halt at 277. So just to visualize a little bit better here, I'll show you guys on E-Trade, which does depict the halt levels slightly better. You can see these dotted lines. So if you're not familiar with a circuit breaker halt, you can look it up on Google. But a circuit breaker halt essentially happens when a stock is going up or down too quickly. The governing body of the market, right, the SEC, these guys will say, hey, stop. Literally, they'll say, hey, freeze that stock from going up so fast. Let these investors get a chance to breathe, digest the breaking news that might have came out, and let these people be able to have time to make decisions. And so usually these halts will last 5 to 10 minutes on these intraday moves like this. There are different type of circuit breaker halts, which is important to mention, that could last longer. In fact, the entire stock market could be halted if it goes up or down too quickly. All those things, just quick side notes there, but yeah. But to keep it simple into what we're doing here, these are usually 5 or 10 minutes, and this particular one was 10 minutes. So from 277, we resume at 291. So it opens up higher than we were previously in the halt level. It does pull back a little bit and then it rips. But it was not a smooth experience for me. And as I mentioned, I essentially missed everything from here to here. So I caught a fair amount of this candlestick right there. And then I missed all of this. This was frustrating for me to see because again, the expectation, I knew the stock would go, but sometimes, in fact, I didn't know anything that the stock was going to go. That would be me reading the future. That's not that's not how it works. But you guys get what I'm trying to say, right? It was looking all right, but sometimes you don't know. And let's see if we zoom out here, right? Sometimes you really don't know if it's going to be, something like this, right? Let's say like that. And then slowly throughout the day, right? Maybe sometimes it goes up, comes down, and then goes, like, I just did not expect it to just straight up. And this, it literally was like straight up right here, straight up. So I got caught off guard and I wasn't as aggressive as I needed to buy back again, to be in. And so from 50 to about 310, I missed all of that. 60 cents, not to mention the resumption where I look for the move up, the pullback, and then the rip. I got chopped out here and lost $300 and ended up going back to flat. So that was a little disappointing there. Ended up losing money here. And so the bulk of my gains really and truly came from the next pattern that we had, which was the wedge breakout. And I did a poor job today. I need to study up some more here. Um, I tried throughout this move to buy low and then sell high, but I did a poor job. Like in a lot of areas, I'm trying to buy. I'm too frail on the entries. I'm in too many times, out too many times. Missing some of these bottoming wick trades like this. Um, so I did a poor job at lows on this stock. And, I made back 400 somewhere here going up and then gave it all back right here again. So up 300 to red 200. I think up to 400 to then the red again or flat. And then I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to wait for the next breakout pattern, which happened to be the wedge breakout right here. You can see, we call it the wedge because we're essentially consolidating sideways. Sometimes we're getting higher lows like this. Lows started here, then we're getting higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And then what's happening is that, we're also sometimes getting lower highs, and it's like we're getting tighter into this level. So you can see it's wide, and then it's getting tighter, 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 tighter. And then, hey, is it going to be up or is it going to be down? Which way is it going to be? If it's up, I want to be in here and selling into the push, right? And in my case, I was in many times, scalping in, out, selling higher, buying high, selling higher. And then we get a bit of a 3-bar play right here, right? So the candle didn't end red, but we pulled back. We had our high around 380 or so. We pulled back, and then we made the new high again. So the 1-minute candle here makes a new high. I'm back in right here in these areas like this for the new high, and boom, this thing jumps up like 15-20 cents. I'm selling into this push. In fact, you know what? Just to give you guys a bit of a treat, I wasn't going to show any sort of uh, archive. So this video here was uploaded earlier today for my students to be able to watch, see my live trading. I'll show you guys that exact trade once we got this breakout here, just so you can see how crazy it was once the new candle came in. Hold on, let's go back a little bit. So we had a high of 69, right? We have a high of 69. I'm gonna jump in right there. I jumped in for the breakout of 69, thinking we would go to 75, 78. Maybe I get a nice 5 to 10 cent winner. But I'm in at 64, and this thing jumps all the way to 93. So take a look at that again. So right here, I'm watching. I'm up 700 bucks at this point. I'm just watching. I'm just watching. I'm like, you know what? It's starting to look decent. Like it wants to get over that level of 69, 70 for that new high. 71 is the height of time. So right there, I'm going to jump in. I'm just going to give this thing a chance. And boom, there's 93, 94. Just absolutely lovely. Absolutely lovely right there. 93, 94. Let's take another look at that again. So that was absolutely beautiful here from the stock, right? This is what we want to see. So that was lovely right there. It drops to 73 afterwards, but anyhows, that's just a small trade to show you guys for a quick treat. And that, this is where I was able to make back my gains, right? So on the move down, I think maybe I could have eased off earlier, because unlike the last wedge that we had, pay attention to what's happening here. It's like descending here, descending, lower highs rather than, kind of like the same high. This first time around, it's like we're coming into the same resistance, 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 resistance. It's at the same level, right? Resistance. But pay attention here. It's going down, going down, going down. It's like I already should have stopped trading this thing, recognizing, hey, it's not holding up. But right here, I tried to take a position thinking this is the bottom and now we're going to go up again. That was not the case. Sometimes you just got to ease off a bit if you're not connecting in the area and protect the gains that you have, But yeah, this was essentially ARBB. How long are we going here? Oh, geez, 20 minutes. Okay, we're not even going to look at the other stock. I mean, it was much of the same, though. BACK on this push up. The baby pullback shined a lot here. We also had a bit of a 3-bar play, small flag. and then we pushed up higher on this one. But yeah, we're going for 20 minutes, so I'm gonna cap it there. Not gonna go too crazy. But yeah, for those of you who are interested in learning, you guys can feel free to check out the day trading course that I have, which is called Merciless Markets University, MMU. Check it out. It's where I go over all these strategies in detail. Ultimately, I think that there will be some people who do learn a lot from my YouTube channel that maybe becomes profitable by just watching the YouTube channel. But I think for anybody who does value time and want everything in one place organized, I'd recommend our gold membership here, right? Right now, you can use coupon code DREAM for 50% off. It's 600 bucks. You have access to it for a year. It is a subscription because there are some things that are reoccurring, right? Like for example, me, giving my archives every day, all right? Me doing one-on-one mentorships, not just myself, but we have other mentors here in the community as well. And just a heads up to show you guys what our other mentors did. I did 1600, right? But let's just go see what the other mentors did today, right? By the way, if you haven't checked out the Relentless Trading chat room, what are you doing, right? We have moderators, right? Crispy is not a mentor in the classes yet. I'll say yet because maybe he comes on board one of these days. But Crispy is a moderator here in our Discord, up $6,600 today. All right, so let's come on up here. All the orange names are the students. Let's come up here to Tim. Tim is one of the other mentors here in the community who did $6,600 today as well. Right, so absolutely impressive. And Marcelo, who I'm trying to find here. Here we go. $3,000 here, guys, from Marcelo, who is the other mentor here as well in MMU. So, if you want, for some of you who might say, hey, I really love what Tim is doing. I don't really need the mentor sessions from Relentless and Marcelo. I don't want their archives. I only want to see what Tim is doing. Tim is the guy that I like. Hey, you can check out Tim as well, right? Tim has a standalone program here with all of his archives. Now you don't get access to the one-on-one mentorships and the other things that are not listed there, but you'll still be able to, see what Tim is doing on a daily basis. But again, if you want everything organized, including Tim's archives, you guys can check out Gold. All right. And again, we have ongoing lectures. There's weekly Q&As every Sunday. Everything that you see listed here is what's included. You have access to the chat room, lifetime access for the chat room, which it's we had it up there as limited time, but we're still doing it. So be sure to check it out. And with that being said, it's been Relentless Trader. There's gonna be some people who they don't need the classes. If that's the case, check out the Discord, right? Check out the chat room. I mean, the community did well today. It's been a good month for us. The market has been completely steaming, and most people have been doing all right. So, that's the good thing here. Dynamo looking really good on the day. We have some small red trades, and we do like the transparency, right? Whether myself, the other traders here who will post on their red days. Sir Clive, a nice day there. 1K there for Beam. So, we have people doing all right. It's really good to see the community thriving like this. Yeah, it's really good to see the community thriving like this. And look at this, Mr. Man, in the simulation and doing extremely well. And this is what we like to see, people being transparent, the honesty, So really good there. Cactus, 700 bucks in a day. Busy doing all right. So, really good stuff here from the community. Shout out to the Relentless traders who are tuning in here every day, participating and trading, and are taking it slow and improving over time. Stay safe, stay green, guys. It's been Relentless Trader, and I'll catch you in the next one. I am signing out.